From the third round of the FA Cup for just the third time since the 84-85 season. Danny Welbeck pouring more misery on his former club. Let's get word from Darren Fletcher after the match.
It's been a difficult period for them in terms of a lot of games with a thin squad, so there's a lot of tired legs, but for me they gave me all, and they're going to have to regroup and come together. A lot to play for in the Premier League.
Did you think when it went 2-1 we might have seen a famous Old Trafford ending again?
Well, that's what I know, so I felt like the crowd was up, I felt like the players were in a good place, and you almost felt like if we can get a few more opportunities to get the ball in the box, it might happen, because this stadium's special for that, and I've got great memories of that. Unfortunately, it wasn't be today.
In terms of going behind, can you see the confidence levels drop? Are they a little bit fragile at the moment?
Well, they are, but they've got to get away from it. You know, you could see that once they conceded the goal, it was difficult for them to respond, and it took them a while to get themselves back onto their feet. But that only changes with winning football matches and going on a run. And for me, you've got to dig deep to win football matches first. It's not going to be from the football, it's going to be from rolling your sleeves up, working hard, coming together as a team, finding a way to grind out or winning a game ugly at times. From there, your football can develop and you can go on a winning run and you can build confidence.
Gab Marcotti joining us now, and the problems continue to build for Manchester United. Gab?
They do. They didn't need this. Obviously, this means that there's nothing left to play for this season, except for the Premier League. But I think in some ways, if you're Darren Fletcher, you want to try to turn a negative into a positive, make lemons with your lemonade, if you will, which is basically that it's a transition. You're building towards something. You're going to select a new manager. These players who are out there, they have a goal, and that goal is to get United into the Champions League for next season. No excuses, no distractions, no European football, no FA Cup, no League Cup, no nonsense, and now you can laser in. I think it's pretty much the only message you can give. I don't think United played that badly today. I think there were some positives to take, but obviously it's another blow.
Yeah, and Casey, when you look at what's ahead for them, they've got Manchester City at Old Trafford coming up at the weekend, and then a trip the following Sunday to face Arsenal. So it's not about to get any easier.
No, it's not. But we've been hearing this for how many years now with Manchester United? It's a transition period. The new manager will come in. We'll give them some time for their transition to be able to. Sometimes the rhetoric has to stop, and I think everybody wants. Well, I guess not everybody, but a lot of people want to see the Manchester United that I was used to playing against. The Alex Ferguson Manchester United, where is that next transition going to turn into reality? And because right now the reality is Manchester United are not a Champions League team that Gab suggests the focus is there to go on and become that.
And if you hear Darren Fletcher, and you see in the caption, interim manager, and he's being asked about the players and about the game, he referred to Manchester United players not as we the team, but they. They need to get over this. They need to be ready to play. They need to be able to overcome difficulties in a game. Almost as if to say, look, I'm here for now, but really, this is not my problem. This is somebody else's problem, and I'll take care of this for as long as you want me to, but they. So who takes responsibility? Because if the interim manager is saying it's going to be somebody else's problem, and then the players are not taking responsibility of their own performances, this is why it gives you an insight as to why this club is where they are. Everybody's like, it must be Amorim, it must be that guy, it must be Ten Hag, it must be them, it must be they, and you continue to see the same things over and over and over again.
Well, it's not his problem, but whose problem is it going to be, Gab? Is it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Is it Michael Carrick, who is taking over from them, not us, them?
Personally, I think that obviously a lot of the buzz has been, I think probably also fueled by a lot of the former Manchester United players who kind of populate the punditocracy and the commentariat. Seems to be about Michael Carrick or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Personally, I think if you're going to go interim, you go interim. if you bring in Michael Carrick, I think you have to give him the job and not just say, hey, you're here to fill the seat till the end of the season. Solskjaer, been there, done that. What, you're going to learn from your mistake in the past where he won a few games and suddenly you said, oh yeah, he's the right man, let's give him the job on a permanent basis, when clearly that didn't work out. Certainly the noises that are coming is that, well, we can look at one of these guys through the end of the season and that'll buy us time to go and select the manager that we really want, bearing in mind that, you know, there's obviously many more managers you can pick from if you make a change in the summer and if you plan it out. Problem is, we've been here before. That's what happens when you sack a guy, or maybe he sacks himself in mid-season.
But they're not in such a bad spot in the table.
Yeah, well.
Like if you're looking at who could take over and
Right.
have this job to be attractive for.
Yeah, so there's a way to formulate that argument and to package that argument and say, hey, look at you. The feeling about this club is very low, and yet, if you look at the standings, there's a run to be made. And while you can package that argument to whoever this next manager is going to be, it's difficult to package that argument to a Manchester United fan who's sitting there in Old Trafford today and seeing Danny Welbeck score goals against you. And you can't get past that. This is the reality of this club. That Danny Welbeck, who basically, hey, see you later, not quite good enough to be here, is now thriving somewhere else and coming into Old Trafford and scoring goals that eliminate you from the FA Cup. That is the reality. And so, yes, you can package the conversation.
Marcus Rashford winning the Super Cup.
Or Marcus Rashford. Winning the Super Copa de España and thriving. A guy who was basically training with the reserves over there. It's like, no, he's not good enough to be here. He's got to go over there. It's hard to make an argument for the whole structure of Manchester United right now and for that argument to be believed by anybody that can actually look at the facts.
And so Arsenal march on in the FA Cup. Our Archie Rintut was at the stadium today and caught up with Mikel Arteta after the game.
Mikel, how would you sum up that performance and that game in the end?
Well, we are in the next round. We are very happy because it's never easy. And we started the game exactly how we didn't want to, giving them momentum, hope and an early goal. But it's true that after that we reacted, even though the first half was a bit scrappy and the conditions obviously were quite tough to play the game that we wanted. We improved in the second half and then the margins becomes much bigger.
Can you talk to me about how your players negotiate these kind of conditions? Because at no point did your players seem fazed by anything. Of course, this season you've only lost 2 games, but just even when Noni Madueke was taking the penalty, just seeing the way that Gabriel was talking to Ethan Nwaneri saying, hey, these are the things you need to do. Yeah. Can you just talk me through that?
Well, the players are taking another step in terms of ownership and initiative, and you can see that. We knew that today was going to be very rainy, big atmosphere, windy and difficult, and you need to embrace that. As you want to win this competition, you have to come to these grounds and do the things that have to be done to earn the right to win the game, and we've done it, and the moment that our quality showed up a little bit, the margins were bigger.
In terms of the danger that you pose from set pieces, everybody knows it and no one can stop it. And just hearing the way that the opposition fans are ironically cheering when they successfully defend a set piece from your team, that's kind of a mark of respect, I guess. How do you see it?
Yeah, obviously there is a massive weapon for us there, and the way we're executing it, the consistency that we showed and the quality to do what we have to do, it makes it very difficult for opponents. So good to have a very direct way of scoring goals that is very efficient.
Yeah, granted they're against lower opposition today, but those set pieces are serving them well, even against their peers in the Premier League,
Yeah,
Casey.
when you play for a team that scores a lot of goals on set pieces, you always feel like at any time there's a foul, there's a corner, there's a chance, and it's so much more difficult. You think of like the trend of got to play out the back. What's easier, to score on a set piece if you're good at it, or 40 pass combination from your goalkeeper to put the ball in the back of the net? So I think it gives any team a ton of confidence knowing at any time you win a set piece or you win a corner, you have a great chance of scoring.
And it also puts stress on the other teams, that they are conditioned now to basically tell themselves, we cannot give up a corner kick. We cannot give up an opportunity, because it feels that every time there's a corner kick, Arsenal grows in confidence and the other team grows in fear, whoever the opposition is. It doesn't even matter whether it's Portsmouth or somebody in the Premier League. Whenever Arsenal gets a corner kick, now they're to the point to where it is fearful defending. Rather than commanding defending, it is fearful defending. And you're hanging on and hoping that the service is not good. If the service is good and the movement is good, and they seem to have 27 set plays coming out of corner kicks, and they're able to execute, which is the most important thing, because I don't care how good of an assistant coach you have that focuses on set pieces, a set piece coach. If you don't have the service, and you don't have the movement, and you don't have the quality of the players, all of this is for naught. And so the first thing is that the service is always there. And in this particular game, it was complicated, and it was the set pieces that got them out of trouble. And we have seen this with this Arsenal team, that it is set pieces that at times is able to get them out of trouble, and that's just as valid as a combination play would be. For them, these goals count exactly the same, and they continue to be a threat. That's undeniable.
West Ham finally ending a run of 10 matches without a win. These are some of the results from the day as well. The upset on the day was Mansfield Town from League One claiming the name of a championship side in Sheffield United. No such problems for Norwich City today against Warsaw. As you can see here, West Brom and Hull City both advancing following penalty shootouts over Swansea and Blackburn, respectively. More FA Cup action coming up tomorrow in the form of Liverpool against Barnsley. You can catch that at 2:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+.